Welcome to Confident Connections, the podcast that helps you show up with confidence and connect with people on a deeper level. I'm Lisa Liu, and here we break down the small signals that create big impact, body language, presence, and the simple habits that help you communicate with ease, increase your influence, and magnify your impact. You'll learn how to make strong first impressions, build trust faster, and feel more confident in any conversation or setting. If you're ready to improve your communication skills and create connections that move your life and your leadership forward, you are in the right place. I got really tired of being the president and CEO of the Itty Bitty Lashes Committee. I don't know if it's my Portuguese heritage or what is happening, but my lashes have always been so short. So I decided to get super consistent with a serum from Barboletta. And when I say consistent, I missed maybe 1 or 2 nights out of an entire 10 weeks. And when I tell you my lashes were longer looking and thicker looking, it's incredible. You can see my before and after if you go to my highlight reel entitled Lashes on Instagram at Lisa Liu Impact. But I'd love to offer you a discount off of your first purchase to try it for yourself. Look, be consistent, and you're going to end up loving the result. You can get a discount by going to lisaluimpact.com/lashes. That's also down in the show notes. lisaluimpact.com/lashes. And look, you got to promise me that you will share with me your results when you've been consistent for 2 or 3 months. Many people see results at 8 weeks. For me, it didn't take off till week 10. And when I tell you that consistency was so worth it, check it out, lisaluimpact.com/lashes. Hey, my friend, welcome to the Confident Connections podcast. I'm excited to share with you today what has been going on this month with me. This is being released on the last day of March, which is a Tuesday. Usually my podcast releases on Mondays, but it has just been one heck of an incredible month, and I just had to kind of manipulate my schedule here and there. So here's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you what I've been up to this month, but not just to highlight, hey, everybody, here's my schedule, because who really cares? What I want to tell you is how I was able to accomplish what I did this month, because I know that that could add value to you and just give you some lessons and takeaways from John Maxwell's International Maxwell Conference that he holds twice a year. As you know, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach. He has 61,000 all over the globe in so many different countries. And I was able to be there and had a pretty incredible honor in the middle of it, which I'll get into. First of all, if this is your first time here, look, I just want to welcome you. You know, what I do here is really, my desire is to add value to you as a leader. And if you're listening and you're ready to hit the stop button because you don't see yourself as a leader, here's what I want to tell you. If you are sucking wind, you are a leader, because who do we have to lead before we can lead anybody else? It's ourselves. So self-leadership should be part of every human being's desire on the planet. So you're in the right place because you're breathing, okay? So that's number one. Number two, I bet you're leading somebody, whether it's your children, whether it's employees, whether it's people in your ministry or a volunteer situation. You're also constantly influencing people. Every time you pass somebody in a hallway, at a store, at a convention, it doesn't matter where you are, you have the ability to add influence. And John Maxwell says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So you are in the right place. Okay, so let me just start by telling you a little bit about this month. And when I name these things, you may think, oh, well, that doesn't sound like much. But let me tell you, everything that I'm about to say took a lot of time, some more than others. Some took months for me to be able to do and do with excellence. So in the month of March, which was my best professional month that I've ever had in my life, I had 2 team trainings, 2 keynote talks, 3 workshops. Now, workshops take a lot of time, and one in particular was a 2-day. That alone took me 6 weeks to put together. I spent an entire week at the International Maxwell Conference, so it was really only a 3-week month for me to actually work. I was able to achieve the honor of becoming a finalist for John Maxwell's what they call stage time. So my speaking coach, Roddy Galbraith, who works for John Maxwell, I have been working with him for 6 months, and I made it to semifinals, and then I made it to finals to be one of 10 people to speak on one of the most prestigious stages in the world. It was absolutely the most incredible experience, was being able to speak on his stage. But that was a lot of bandwidth. It was a lot of work to get there. And then I signed on a new company contract, which was incredible, and so much work to get to that. So, here's what I want to say. People will sometimes in my life, they'll be like, wow, you've got so much discipline. Here's where I want to tell you, I don't have as much discipline as a lot of people think I do. Now, I am consistent. But discipline is something that in some areas I'm super disciplined. My quiet time in the morning, it's non-negotiable. My workouts, non-negotiable. But other areas of my life, I don't have as much discipline as I want. And I got to thinking about that. Like, what's the difference between discipline and consistency? Because I do believe there's a difference. And when I did a little research on this, here's what it came up with. Discipline is the ability to start and do hard things regardless of your emotions. And see, that's sometimes where I falter and where I am learning to work through the hard. So doing hard things no matter how you feel, right? While consistency is the habit of showing up and repeating those actions over time. Once I can develop a habit, I can remain consistent. But getting to that habit takes discipline. And that's what I know I continually need work on. And coming into this year, having the busiest Q1 that I've ever had in my entire life. Now, I've been an entrepreneur almost 36 years. This has been the busiest, most impactful, most exciting and rewarding Q1, but it also meant an incredible amount of time investment. And so I knew, look, sister, you have got to get disciplined if you're going to perform with excellence. Because unfortunately, I don't think one thing I've done this entire quarter, maybe one or two, was a wash, rinse, repeat. Everything else had to be formed from scratch. So the reason I'm telling you this is because with this month being awesome, but also being, oh my gosh, there's all these different buckets. How am I going to have the time, the bandwidth, everything I need to actually do this at a level that I feel like I'm giving my best? And the answer was discipline. The answer was incredible time management, which is something I also need to get better at, but that goes back to discipline. So here are some things that I put in place. In full transparency, I came out of the gate, was so awesome in January. I'm like, yes, I have reached the unlock. I have reached the pinnacle of what I need to do. And then February came and I started to revert to old habits. I'm like, dang it, that's where I falter with discipline, okay? So I hadn't developed the habit yet. I had found a little bit of consistency, but hadn't really developed the habit to lean into that strength of consistency. So here are the 3 things that I did to help me to do what I feel. There's a couple things that I wish I would have done a little bit different, but I can put my head on my pillow at night knowing I did really well for everybody who hired me for these projects. Number 1, this is not revolutionary, but it is a game changer for me. And it is to put my phone in airplane mode and put it out of sight when I'm working. Now, there is a lot of work I can and do from my phone, but what's also on my phone are social media apps. And when my brain gets tired, I either revert to checking email or going to social media. It's just, instead of going outside and walking around my backyard, because I do most of my work from home unless I'm out serving, training, speaking, I do all my creation here at home. My favorite thing to do is to take a brain break and go in the backyard. But it was cold in February. And so I found myself reverting to those old habits. And so what I had to do is put my phone in airplane mode, but not just do that. I needed to get it away from me because it was too easy to pick up when I needed that brain break and go through the black hole of social media or whatever else, even email. I think I check email more than I check social media. I'm not looking for anything. It's a distraction, okay? So that was number one. Number two, to show up as my best, to perform with excellence, I had to invest in accountability with people who are ahead of me. What does that mean? I have ample resources. As a John Maxwell coach, I have ample resources. But if you're thinking, but I'm not a John Maxwell coach, I don't have ample resources to coaching calls and all kinds of things. You really do. There are so many, maybe not John Maxwell's coaching calls, but there are people out there like me that do what I do, that serve, that allow you to invest your time in learning and growing. And so what I realized is that I had let my schedule take over some of that accountability by showing up. I was in my speaking group every week, but I wasn't in my Maxwell training group every week. I was in a workshop training group every week, but I had neglected some other accountability pillars that I knew were going to help hold my feet to the fire when I just wanted to quit. So that was lesson number 2 and commitment number 2. And number 3 was choosing discipline. Because here's the deal, discipline is a choice, not a gift. And again, full transparency, I think I used to look at people who were disciplined and think, wow, what a gift. They can really stick to something. And that's just a false narrative. Discipline is not a gift, it's a choice. It is a choice of getting rid of things that are distracting you from your goal, your impact, and your purpose. I am choosing discipline, and I'm telling you, it is hard for me because it goes against my nature. One of the reasons I'm an entrepreneur is I don't like working for somebody else. I don't like being told what to do. That means I have to tell me what to do, and sometimes I don't like listening to me. So it's this kind of, I don't know if you would call it rebellion. I don't know what that is. Maybe I need therapy over that. But I love working for myself. But I have to ask myself, why do I love working for myself so much? And I think part of it, if I'm being really honest, is that sometimes I give myself a little too much grace and let myself off the hook a little bit too often, which takes me back to number 2, investing in accountability with people that are ahead of me. We always want to be in rooms, in groups, in situations where people are ahead of us in success, in their faith, in their marriage, in their parenting. Who is crushing it? We need to be mentored by them. And so by intentionally putting myself in those rooms, by you intentionally putting yourself in those rooms, you have a greater opportunity for growth. Otherwise, our growth is halted and we can only grow as far as our own personal limitations. So I hope that helps with maybe if you are on the struggle bus with some things, some goals, some dreams, some ambitions that you have, and maybe one of those things you're like, oh yeah, that's it. That's one of the missing links. So I'll repeat them. Putting my phone in airplane mode and getting it out of sight. By the way, I've started doing this too when I'm at dinner with my husband. Usually our daughter, who's 19, her schedule is insane and she's rarely able to join us for dinner. So it's usually just me and my husband. And my daughter still lives at home, but she works and she teaches Taekwondo and she's in school full time. So when it's me and my husband, it was easy for us to be like, oh, did you see this that I sent you today? And pick up our phone and like show it. And then the next thing you know, we get a message and we're messaging. Terrible habit. So not just putting the phone out of sight, on airplane mode, but putting it out of sight, okay? Number 2 was investing in accountability with people who are ahead of me. And then number 3, choosing discipline because it is a choice, not a gift. And it is just a fleshly thing I have to die to every single day. Something else I wanted to share with you, though, I was at this incredible International Maxwell Conference. This is the second one I've been to. My first one was last March when I actually completed my certification with John Maxwell. This is my second, albeit my third this August. My plan is to never miss one, but I had to miss last August, but I just love it. But there's so much gold because you were in a room with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, depending on which IMC, International Maxwell Conference you're at, of people who are not everybody's crushing it. Some people are brand new and in that room because they want to be crushing it, right? And when I say crushing it, it doesn't just mean making a lot of money. Honestly, for us, it is about adding value to people and creating impact. So I want to give you a few of the takeaways, the gold nuggets that I learned from this International Maxwell Conference. And there are tons. I'm just going to give you a few, just some bullet points that I came up with. One of them, I love this so much. Leave your footprints in the sand of time, not your butt prints in the sand of time. Are we in action towards our goals, ambitions, dreams, purpose, desires? Or are we sitting and waiting for things to happen? I made a post about this the other day, but one of my favorite sayings of John Maxwell's is, I always ask God for help, but I never show up empty-handed. Meaning he is always actively bringing to God his best and then asking God to open or close those doors. But he brings his best. It's not being a passive participant, it's being an active participant. So that was number one. Number two, how do others experience my presence? Now you could put any word in front of that. My leadership presence, my parental presence, my friendship presence, my marital presence. How are others experiencing my presence? Are they confused? Or is there clarity? Do they perceive a calm confidence? Or do I put people on edge? Do people tune in when I speak, or do they tune out? These are some self-reflective questions that I just thought, you know what? I needed to hear that because I need to do a little bit more introspection a little bit more often. And then the last one I'll share with you, which believe me, friend, I could spend a very long time with all of my takeaways, but I'm going to keep it brief because I want to honor your time. Are you growing daily, and what is your growth plan? Look, if you are here, my strong assumption is that you care about growth. I don't know why anybody will listen to this podcast if they didn't care about growth professionally, personally, spiritually. So what is your growth plan? Because growth does not happen by accident. It takes intention. This is how they broke it down. What will you read? Who will speak into your life? So who is your mentor, mentors? And what experiences are you growing from? Because you may have just come out of a job loss, a breakup, a business fail, whatever it is. Are you growing from that? Because every experience is an opportunity for a lesson and for growth. Are you growing? What are you experiencing? Are you a different person now than you were before? That's the question. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm so fired up about this month. I'm so excited. And if you are on my newsletter and you haven't heard from me this month, now you know why. I have been so inconsistent. I think I sent a newsletter at the very beginning of this month. And look, that is not how I do things. But there was only so much bandwidth with what I had, and I wanted to bring value, and I didn't feel like I had the capacity. So if you are on my newsletter, my apologies. You have it today. If you're listening to this Tuesday, March 31st, it will be in your inbox at 10 a.m. Central Time. But look, if you're not on my newsletter, I want to encourage you to get on it. And one of the things you can do is to get a free gift, a free download of mine, which is the How Not to Be Awkward, which it's lisaluimpact.com/connection. It's down in the show notes as well, completely for free. And it is a PDF download of all kinds of conversation starters that will help you to connect with people more organically, more intentionally, and just maybe, have fewer awkward moment. So whether you're networking, whether it's ministry, whether it's in your career, whether it's volunteer, this is a great resource, lisaluimpact.com/connection. The next resource, this one is $57, but it is yours to keep, self-paced, and it's called the 2-Hour Confident Connection Kit. This is going to take you through a framework that will take you less than 2 hours to get through and is going to help you learn behavior of yourself and others, how to read body language, what it means, how to have meaningful conversations. You get so much value. $57 yours to keep, and you can get that at lisaluimpact.com/kit, KIT. Go check it out. Everything is down in the show notes. Look, I'm so grateful for your time here. Thank you. It means the absolute world to me that you would choose to spend a little bit of time with me each week. If you find value, please share this podcast with a friend and be sure to subscribe, rate, review, any of the things that help the interwebs know, hey, this is important. We need to get it out to more people. I can't wait to see you next time. And until then, make your next connection your best connection. Bye for now.